Arsenal are on the verge of snaring Eberechi Eze from under the noses of Tottenham. It appears it was a development triggered by the injury to Kai Havertz, just one game into the new season. And there's a little bit of romance here, Henry, isn't there? Because he's got history with Arsenal. And as a result of the rumours overnight, I mean, the excitement amongst the Arsenal fan base is palpable.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about the romance when he was 13. It probably wasn't a particularly romantic moment for him, but when he was released by Arsenal as a kid and he walked out of there in floods of tears and wondering what he was going to do with his career. And I think that it's a fantastic example of resilience. He went to other clubs, Fulham, Reading, Millwall. But at one point, at sort of 16, 17, he was thinking of going working at Tesco's. Other supermarkets are available, but his career was sort of drifting a little bit, and because of QPR, huge credit to them, and I'm glad they get 15% of the profit on this deal, and because of the good coaching there, Chris Ramsey, Les Ferdinand, coaches like that, and then Palace taking a chance. As you say, it's romantic, but it's not an overnight romance. It's taken a bit of a while for the love to float in.
Mm. Obviously, they've got a lot of attacking options now, Arsenal, but keeping on the supermarket theme, every little helps. What does he bring that Arsenal don't have, Scott?
I'm now trying to think of another supermarket slogan and I can't off the top of my head now. What does he bring? I mean, Arsenal drew far too many games last season because they came up against teams who just tried to be as solid as possible. And with the likes of Martinelli and Saka, I mean, I'm with Henry only post playing now that I love watching wingers and going wide and taking on the fullbacks. But Martinelli hasn't quite developed into the player that we thought he could. He also, because Martin Odegaard, although he played quite well at the weekend, didn't have his best season for whatever reasons. Injury wasn't quite 100%. I think he's a great option to be that kind of second number 8 or number 10. And he can help unlock defences. And I can absolutely see almost, when you sort of, I wouldn't quite say a Gerrard and Torres relationship, but I definitely can see it won't take long for Gyökeres's runs, who made a lot of runs, I felt, at the weekend at Old Trafford, and wasn't given the pass. I believe that Eze will see that. So I think he's that different person who can unlock defences against tight defences and well organised, and can turn draws into wins, which is what Arsenal need to do to win the title.
Yeah, it might be that is a very similar relationship to the one that he had with Jean-Philippe Mateta at Selhurst Park. But on the other side of this coin, if Tottenham are to miss out on this opportunity to bring Eze into their club, they're going to be accused, and their fans are already kicking off about this, of not being able to get the big deal done again. Is this because Arsenal are a more attractive proposition, Henry, or is it because Tottenham dawdle in negotiation and don't seize the moment?
Well, to continue the supermarket theme, it has to be as Arsenal in this case because of the. I mean, they are a big allure. I mean, Tottenham have got a magnificent stadium. I think they've actually bought well this summer. Daniel Levy's come in for a bit of criticism from the Tottenham fans for not getting this deal over the line. Obviously complicated, by the Havertz injury, but also the fact that Palace have got a game tonight. I think they've actually bought pretty well. Kudus, getting Palhinha on loan as well, getting Romero signed. I thought that's re-signed. I think that's a huge thing, and obviously Thomas Frank coming in. You saw that in the first game. Are Arsenal a more attractive proposition? Yeah, I mean, if you look at them over the last 3 years, finishing second, pushing for a title. Tottenham, obviously, they won the Europa League, which was magnificent, but they finished just above the relegation positions. So you could see why Arsenal, for many reasons, would be. But look, Scott's better qualified to speak on this than I am. But I would have thought, in terms of his England chances, he'll go to the World Cup, I'm sure. Tuchel likes him. But there's far more of an opening for him at Tottenham Hotspur, particularly as a 10. Sadly, with Maddison being out, Gibbs White, Tottenham not getting that deal over the line. Then Arsenal, because is he going to start in that Arsenal 11 at the moment? I really don't think so. I mean, he's a fantastic player, but he's not a flyer down their left. They've got other players who can do that. I think, if anything, he's an understudy for Odegaard. I know he's slightly more on the right, but he drifts in as a 10. So it'd be interesting to see how much he played. But look, he's bound to play because Arsenal are attacking on 4 fronts. But it's going to be interesting to see whether he's coming on, how much he's influencing game, because he's a fabulous talent. We saw that with a free kick at the weekend. We've seen it when he's played for England. I mean, he's goal return for someone who plays not as a centre forward is pretty useful. 40 and whatever it is, 169 for Palace. So look, there are many attractions for Arsenal to him, and look, he will do well there, but I think he probably would have started more at Spurs.
This is a fascinating situation, Scott, isn't it, as a player? Because you've got to juggle so many different propositions in your head. You can go to Tottenham, play every single week, but you're in a team that isn't probably going to fight for the title. But if you go to Arsenal, you could be part of a Premier League winning squad and a team that goes deep in the Champions League. Plus, you've got an emotional connection to Arsenal. He's an Arsenal supporter. So there's lots of different things that he's got to juggle here. But are Tottenham guilty of not seizing the moment at the beginning of this transfer window? Everybody knew that they were in for him. He had a release clause. They could have gone and activated that much earlier in the window. They didn't do it, and now they're going to lose out. That's why their fans are annoyed.
And I totally can understand them as well. I mean, only Spurs can finish second in a one-horse race. I mean, it's just unbelievable how Daniel Levy, look, brilliant businessman, fantastic businessman, but you have to try and get that extra piece done. Son's gone, Maddison's injured, you didn't get Gibbs White. Just go and get the deal done. And it just took an injury to Kai Havertz or somebody like that, and suddenly one of the real big boys swoop in. I'm actually more optimistic about his game time than Henry is. I really, really like this player. And when I was covering the EFL during COVID, we were trying to sort of work out ways. There was no football. How can we sort of get stuff out there? And we did a team of the season. And I had him in my team of the season and said, look, this could be a real potential star if someone can believe in him. I think his backstory is amazing. The fact that he has, and Henry's mentioned so many of the clubs that he's been at. I think not only is he a great example for young professional footballers, and I know some who were broken when they first were told, right, you're not getting a professional contract or no more than 1 year and then you're done. But I think he's a great, in the world we live in right now, a great example of resilience to anybody. So for him to come in, I think he's that good that he will start once he's up and probably in Martinelli's particular position. But in terms of Tottenham, I mean, this is a massive, massive blow because I'm sorry, I don't even care if you're a Spurs fan, unless you're an adamant Spurs fan on a professional level, you're not turning down Arsenal for Spurs. Spurs, it looks like, have got 1 year in the Champions League. And with him signing, they maybe had a 25% chance of finishing fifth because combining Premier League and Champions League is very, very difficult. With him not signing, I don't see them getting anywhere near it now. And it's a big blow. And he's signing for a regular club or a club that's regularly in the Champions League and fighting for the Premier League. And you have to have belief in yourself. And he's done that all these years.
Arsenal Leeds Saturday 5:30, one of a number of games that we better sort of rattle through before we end. Defence won the day at Old Trafford last week, but the Gunners fans will demand a little bit more of a creative performance at home to newly promoted Leeds. And I suppose if they add Eze before the weekend, they're likely to get it, Scott.
That's it, Sam. Arsenal was my pick just because I felt I couldn't trust City yet. But look, a difficult place to go. And I thought United were very, very good. But to get 3 points is brilliant. But they can't keep on doing that because they were doing that last season and they fell short. They need more, which is why I think Eze would make a big, big difference. Defensively, yeah, superb. We know how good they are. And, even you look at the bench of Lewis Skelly and was it Timber coming off the bench, that they're first teamers. But going forward, they need something a little bit more. And I'm just slightly concerned that Mikel Arteta is going to be sort of same as last season. Again, we try not to judge anyone on the first game, and Old Trafford, difficult place to go. It was always going to be tough and they did play well, but they need more. And that's why I think Eze would be a wonderful signing. He could unlock the defence. Gyökeres has got, 60 minutes under his belt now. He's getting a little bit fitter. Take him a few more games. This should be the perfect game. Leeds were very, very good in terms of, again, we talk about atmospheres and Ellen Road. And when I was there in the Championship, it felt like a top Premier League game. The fans there are amazing. But the players, contentious penalty decision gave them all 3 points. They're not the Leeds United of old, so this should be the perfect game for Arsenal.
David Raya, such an asset last week and all of last season. But Leeds have got a good goalkeeper too in Luca Perry. They've recruited a lot of physically imposing players, but they need a goal scorer. By the way, the goalie has this thing where he throws the ball up and punches it about 100 yards. He hasn't done it in the Premier League yet, and he didn't do it much in France, but he can distribute. Let's just put it that way. The one thing that Leeds lack is not someone who's going to score 20 goals, because I don't think that you're ever going to get that when you're Leeds United. No one scores 20 goals. 3 or 4 players every year score 20 Premier League goals. We've spoken about that before. But you need someone who's going to get 10 or 12 Premier League goals over the course of the season. And I'm not sure that Joel Perreault is the kind of player who's going to do that for all of his qualities. And I just think they probably need that extra little bit. They've been linked with Noah Okafor, but if they're to stay in the league, they're going to need to find a way, Henry, to score goals, aren't they?
And they brought Calvert-Lewin in, haven't they? And you will, I mean, if he's fit, you know, he can.
If he's fit.
Yeah, I mean, he can do some damage. It's been quite interesting following him on the social media. People were questioning him why he didn't go to a team that's playing in Europe, and he said, well, he's gone to a bigger club, and then he signed it off marching on together. So he's already embedded himself with the Leeds fans. I just think their performance the other day, I mean, you're right. They produce it. They've got all this creativity. Tanaka as well in that sort of number 10 role, I thought was outstanding. Their most important player for me is Ampadu. I just think he sets the tone. He's got that emotional connection with the fans on and off the pitch. I mean, you saw his celebrations when they went up. He took a bad knock. I thought it was quite a sort of dangerous challenge that he took the other day, or late challenge. And yet he was so determined to play on. I mean, they had the sub ready to come on, and he was so determined. I think that is what Leeds is about. It's that determination, playing for the badge, playing through the pain, playing to win, marching on together, still fueled by, you know, the feeling of injustice from the 1975 European Cup final. All those things are absolutely stirred with the next generation of Leeds fans, let alone sort of, you know, my generation, who just about remember that. So, yeah, there's something special about, you know, Leeds United. I mean, they're unique. I mean, it's a one club city. We talk about atmospheres in the Premier League, and you go to Ellen Road and you think, no, it's all right here.
Yeah, I was there Monday night. It was absolutely belting, especially at the end of the game. They play the Kaiser Chiefs song, I Predict a Riot. They're all kicking off. Actually, what was amazing was the celebration of players after winning that game, all jumping into each other's arms because they know how important getting their first win of the season is. Bearing in mind, it took the two took newly promoted clubs in general all clumped together till October to get 3 points last year. 2 have managed it in the opening weekend. So good luck to Leeds and Sunderland. Maybe Burnley will be next off the rank. They play Sunderland this weekend.